All right, welcome back. So today I'm gonna make a very short video about daydreaming versus visualization and what's the difference. I said I was gonna make this video maybe 2 weeks ago, and here it is. I said I was gonna make this video. Here it is, because daydreaming and visualization are two different things. And no, you can't really manifest through daydreaming. Technically you can, but again, that's because the only thing you can't do when it comes to manifestation is waver. So technically, if you do say you can manifest through daydreaming, like technically, if you want to be like that about it, technically, yes, you can manifest through daydreaming. But overall, like from the more like basic secular level, you can't manifest through daydreaming. My assumption anyways. So maybe this is a little bit of a paradox oxymoron video that we're going to discuss today. So yeah, that's today's video, daydreaming versus visualizing. So yeah, before this video starts, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you do want to have coaching with me, if you do want to have 1 month coaching with me, you can check the bottom link in the description down below at school.com. You can buy the monthly pack. So full month coaching with me, check out that in the bottom of the description. Awesome. All right, let's get into it. So when it comes to daydreaming versus visualization, those are two very different things. And more of the critical side of people who are like, secular atheists, they might be like, manifestation isn't real because I daydream all the time and I fantasize all the time. And they give you all those secular, questions and answers and all this stuff. And they basically do a smart ass comment saying, I daydream all the time and I don't get it. I don't get what I want. Well, that's because daydreaming and visualization are two different things. Daydreaming is you basically living in a fantasy world that is you rejecting the fantasy world, and that's it. Visualization, on the other hand, is the opposite. It is a 5 to 10 second scene. I prefer much less than 10 seconds. I prefer like 3 seconds, but 5 to 10 second scene because most of you are fine with that. And you repeat the same scene throughout the day, essentially almost like a robotic affirmation. You just repeat it throughout the day and you don't reject it. So when it comes to daydreaming is essentially a movie, while visualization is a TikTok. It's a 15, well, obviously not 15, but like 3 to 10 second TikTok. Daydreaming is a full movie. You're not going to be able to memorize the full movie. I don't think anyone, there are people who watch like the same movie 30 times in a row. And if you told them to write down the dialogue, they won't, no one can write down the dialogue of their favorite movie because it doesn't dwell. You can't really force all that into your imagination. But the TikToks, on the other hand, yes, you can probably write down dialogue of your favorite TikTok if you listen to it for a full month. It downloads in your brain. That's the difference. Of daydreaming is a movie that you just can't memorize. It can't really sink into your subconscious. While visualization, on the other hand, it is again, 5 to 10, but I prefer even less than that, TikTok that you really fully bathe in it and you soak in it and you don't reject it. That's the big difference. Daydreaming, every normal human who is unawake, who are not the chosen people, because the people who understand the law of assumption, they are the chosen people. So when it comes to the Goyim, who are not spiritually awake, whenever they daydream, they reject it. They basically play something in their head, then they enter the 3D again and they reject it, be like, that didn't happen, let me focus back on my real life. The visualization, on the other hand, is you don't reject it. You accept it. You keep accepting in your brain. No, I have this. The entire day. It doesn't matter what you're looking at in the 3D. You keep accepting it and accepting it and accepting it and accepting it. There is no rejection when it comes to visualization. There is rejection when it comes to daydreaming. So, yeah, there's a big difference between daydreaming and visualization. I know, listen, as someone who has been in the law of assumption community for many years, there is a lot of smartasses, mainly in the, secular atheistic lens in the West. There's a lot of smartass comments about stuff like this. Be like, oh, I daydream all the time. I don't get what I want. It's like, no, daydreaming and visualization are two very, very different things. And you really can't stop doing imagination anyways. Like, you got to think about it like this. You are always using your imagination. Always. If you're sitting at a restaurant and the waiter brings you a menu, if there's one burger right here that's like $80, which by the way, in Canada, the burgers are really sometimes $80. It's fucking painful out here. Up here in the north, the real north. $80 burger here, and the second part of the menu is like I don't know, you're choosing between a $60 burger. You're naturally imagining in your head as you're making that decision, and you might not even know it, but you're imagining everything that can go right and wrong within seconds. So when it comes to the $80 burger, you're naturally imagining like, obviously the taste of the image, because again, you have an image in front of you, so you're obviously imagining the taste buds naturally. And some of you guys can actually feel that on your tongue. But you're also imagining the $80 taking off your bank account, and then you're going back home to your wife and she's like, yeah, why did you spend all this like $80 for a burger when I can just cook you I have McDonald's at home. Like we can create this at home. So like you're always imagining, you can't really stop imagining. You're always in a daydream state. Whenever someone asks you a question, you're naturally having millions of thoughts in your head like that. You can't ever stop imagining. It's impossible. You are your imagination. So you're always in a state of daydreaming. You just don't know it because you only count the daydreaming when you're in a fantasy-like state and you're daydreaming about something really positive and that you can kind of turn into a movie and whatever else, fantasy, right? The difference is when it comes to visualization, now that you know that your imagination is always running, again, like literally always running, test it out yourself if you don't believe me. Just test it out yourself. If I say pink elephant, what do you think of? Just test it out. You're always imagining. Visualization takes your always imagining moments and just imagines one thing and tries to stick to that one thing as much as possible. And that one thing is going to be externalized because, again, you manifest whatever your dominant thought is. And if that's your dominant thought, it will be externalized. And again, you don't even have to believe it because, again, your goal when it comes to manifestation is to basically familiarize that. And if you constantly have one image in your head on repeat or one TikTok video in your head on repeat, that's going to be very familiar to your brain because you're always thinking about that. And that'll be pushed out onto the 3D. If you're laser focused on the visualization, the small little TikTok, that's going to be pushed on the 3D a lot more than the random stuff you think throughout the day. Or a lot more than whatever is in the 3D because you're too focused on your imagination. So hopefully this kind of helped you guys understand the math here. There is a little bit of, it's pretty easy to understand this stuff, but a lot of people, when it comes to the law of assumption, they kind of just want the more answers to get what they want. They don't really care about the other answers about like how this stuff actually works. But if you do care about how this stuff actually works, that's a good thing right there to know that your imagination is always running. It is always running. If you don't believe me, just test it out. Just test it out. If someone asks you, hey, you want to go to the movies? Just count how many times you thought of like 85,000 scenarios where you're already at the movies. You're thinking about the clothing you're going to wear at the movies. You're thinking about how big the movie theater is, like the Odyssey, if you're going to watch an IMAX or whatever, if you're going to watch Agamemnon die by his wife in IMAX and how Nolan intended or normal screen or whatever. Like, you're always imagining. You can't really stop imagining. You're always imagining. Visualization is just taking your always imagining state and focusing it on one image or one, again, like 5 to 10 second visualization. So that's the difference. The difference between visualization and daydreaming is visualization. You just repeat the same thing in your head all day and you whatever. You guys know what I mean. I can't say that word today. You just repeat it in your head nonstop. Daydreaming, you don't do that. Daydreaming is just random. And you might even get things from daydreaming. But again, when it comes to daydreaming, you're only going to get like small things in your daydream because your brain understood that, but it didn't understand the full thing because it didn't impress on the subconscious mind yet. Those small things did, but the big, large picture didn't. But when it comes to visualization, everything is kind of impressing on the subconscious mind, and that's one of the reasons why it's one of the most popular methods in the law of assumption community. So hopefully this helped you. This is kind of a myth busting video. I made one yesterday, but I don't know, when it comes to, I'm not sure if I'm going to title this myth busting, but this is like half myth busting, half advice video. But I'm not sure what I'll title this. So you guys will know when this video comes out. But yeah, anyways, hopefully that helped you. If you do want to have more help with me, you can check out the bottom link in the description down below at school.com. You can stay there for a full month, so you can have a full 1 month coaching with me. So check that out if you want to get coaching, if you want to have more help with me. So check that out. Other than that, make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, bye.